Good morning. Happy Sunday. Oh, so I'm going to rush through this one today because I am running late, but it was just on my heart today to pop in here really quick, and have just a quick chat about sacrifice. So it's Sunday morning, and I decided today to go to the early service at my church. Mine has a couple. Has a lot, actually. Anyway, and I decided to go to the early service, and I like the early service because I'm a morning person, and I like getting up early and all of that kind of stuff. I do my best work in the mornings. You know, you'll find me working in my PJs, but still working at 7 a.m. a lot of mornings because that's when I do my best. But this morning, I stayed in the bed longer than I should have, debating with myself, oh, you could just go to the later service. You could go to the later service. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You know, you still show up, not a worry. But I had to have a conversation with myself about the sacrifice of sleep because I'm very tired. I'm overwhelmingly tired right now. And I had to have this conversation with myself that, Erica, if you go to the late service, the rest of your afternoon is shot. Because I do a lot of my writing on Sunday. Sunday is kind of my writing day. It's when I'm most attuned to what I need to be sharing, and I prepare a lot of content for the week and stuff. And I know I've done it before. I've done it to myself before. Where if I choose to go to the later service, my whole afternoon is shot. Whole day. Can't get squat done. It's just rough. It's a total first world problem, I know. But that's where it's at. And so I had to have this conversation with myself that, Erica, you need to sacrifice right now. You just need to make a little sacrifice. It's not like a big sacrifice. It's not even like a life-altering sacrifice. It's just a little one. But you need to make the sacrifice for the good of yourself, for the good of your content, for the good of the people who are, you know, waiting on what you have to say, for the good of the world, you know, not to sound like conceited or stuff, but I know I'm here to change the world, and I can't change the world if I'm not willing to make a little sacrifice. So I had to have a little conversation with Erica. And so I want to tell you the same thing that I told me. Sometimes you do have to sacrifice a little bit. And I'm not saying we sacrifice our whole selves, because I will be the first one to admit that I'm very guilty of that. And it's very harmful to me a lot of times. But I can sacrifice the comfort and the warmth of my bed, because it was nice and toasty this morning, to go to church at the service I said I would go to. I can sacrifice a little bit of extra sleep to hold to my commitment. And see, I didn't make this commitment to anybody but me and God. I didn't tell anyone. No one knows that I made this bargain with myself but me. But I know. But I know. And in my integrity, I need to keep my word. And so I have to make that sacrifice. And it's just me and me. Just me and me. Me and me have to make a sacrifice. And that's all. And so you have made a bargain with yourself of some kind. It could be about anything. It could be about, I don't know, going to the gym. And you've made this deal with you, saying you would do this, committing to you that you would go to the gym a few days a week, and you would stay there and walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes or what have you, whatever your deal is. And it's just between you and you. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. Sometimes it's really hard to even make that deal, right? There are days when I can't even bargain with myself, much less anyone else. And so on those days when you know you've made this deal with you, and you know that you've promised you're going to do this, it happens that sometimes a sacrifice will be required. Sometimes you'll have to sacrifice. My sacrifice I need to make more often, just to be completely honest, social media. Sometimes I need to sacrifice that mindless scrolling on social media that I do so well, for another commitment that I've made to myself. And so when it requires a sacrifice, don't get frustrated. It is okay to make that sacrifice. It is okay for the goals that you've made for yourself, for the dreams that you have for you, to require a little bit of sacrifice. You don't have to sacrifice the important things, but you can sacrifice some other things. You can sacrifice a little bit of sleep. You can. And I'm not talking like hours of sleep. No, I'm not telling you to stay up until 3 a.m. I would never do that. But I like my sleep. But you can sacrifice that extra 30 minutes that you would have spent snoozing the alarm when you can just pop up and just be like, all right, I'm going to do this. I get to work in my pajamas. I'm going to go do this today. Right? You can sacrifice the social media scrolling time. You can sacrifice the time. You can sacrifice the time you would have spent complaining. Yeah, I'm guilty. We're all guilty of this. We want to feel loved and supported, and so we spend a lot of time complaining about what's going on instead of changing what's going on. We could sacrifice that time too. We could sacrifice the unhealthy food, the junk food that tastes so good. We could sacrifice that. We could, in favor of the other things that our body craves and needs. That craving's just a little more quiet than the sugar craving, because we all know about how bad sugar is. We know that. I'm not going to go down that road. We could sacrifice the soft drinks for a glass of water. Things like that. It's never, 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 ever going to be like a big child-sized sacrifice, okay? That's never what you're going to be asked for. But what you're going to be asked for is to sacrifice a bit of your daily routine. I wish I could sacrifice pizza. I know, girl, I like pizza too. Homemade pizza though, really good. Cauliflower crust, really good. And so I want you to think, I want to challenge you right this week to think about, where could you make these teeny weeny little sacrifices that, let me be honest here, let me be really honest, that in the moment of sacrifice, while I was lying in my bed, like arguing with myself, it felt monumental. It felt like the biggest thing in the world for me to get up and make this sacrifice to keep my commitment to me. It's like the hardest thing I've done today, okay? But in reality, it wasn't. But it felt it. And so in the moment when you're making these sacrifices, it's going to feel like the worst thing in the world. You're going to feel like you're giving up everything. It's okay. It's okay to feel that. It's okay for it to feel that way. You're good. You're good. But when you look back later, you'll realize, and it may take a little while, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't the end of the world. I didn't give up that much. I'm okay. So getting to your goal, whatever that goal looks like for you, will require small, continual sacrifices. I believe in you, and I know that even though right this minute that sacrifice is going to be huge and big, you can do this. We can do this. I believe in me too, because I still have to make the sacrifices too. We can make these sacrifices. We can reach our goals one itty bitty little sacrifice at a time. We're fabulous, we're awesome and amazing. Oh. And I hope that you have an awesome, killer, fabulous day. I'll see you later.